Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to a 24/7 news report with the headline news coming out of France that Everton hope to take advantage of Lyon's financial mess and attempt to buy MANGALA cheaply coming this summer. There is no mention of what Everton would offer Lyon for the Belgian. This comes from Foot Mercato via Sport Witness, and this is an interesting one because, of course, if you have seen the news about Lyon, there is rumours of a relegation to Ligue 2, and it just seems like a complete mess, which, if I'm going to be really honest, makes me quite happy the Textor thing never happened. If this is how one of his other clubs going, I don't know if it's completely down to him, and of course, we don't really know, but at the end of the day, it looks like we got the right one with how Lyon are going anyway. But we're running a poll currently on the Toffee Blues Twitter, and so far 66% of fans have said yes to signing Mangala. And to be honest with you, if they do get relegated to League 2, I saw people mentioning like, oh, the most we should offer is 25 million. I'd be shocked if we have to pay more than 15 for him. Probably even closer to 10 if we're being honest, unless a little bidding war starts. Because it's not like the drop from the Premier League to the Championship where there's parachute payments and still a decent bit of money. If Lyon drop to League 2, it is catastrophic for them. Everyone of value will have to get sold. Everyone with a wage above a certain will have to go. They'll be heavily reliant on academy players more than likely, and it's a financial pitfall if they do go down to the point where they will probably need to take anything they're given. And I quite like Mangala. I think he's good at moving the ball on. I think he shows a lot of energy, and I think he's offered more than players like than what we've seen from players like Decore, to be honest with you. And again, so I won't be against signing him, and especially for the right fee. If we can get him for between 10 and 15 million, I think that's an absolute steal, and I think we have to take it, to be honest, because I think it's unfortunate, and as a team who have recently been in financial situations, it's not nice to be the ones now hawking on someone else and picking the bones off them and like vultures. But yeah, I think it's one where if the offer's there, we have to take it, if I'm being honest, because if not, another Premier League team probably will. Moving on, Everton are among a host of clubs showing concrete interest in Getafe midfielder Kristantus Uche. The Nigerian has a €20 million release clause in his current contract. That comes with Give Me Sport. I don't know much about Uche, but like you mentioned, 21 years old. He's looks like a decent midfielder, good numbers for shot creating actions and successful take-ons, where he's actually ranked in the top 10% in Europe's top 5 leagues for his position, which is, again, it's interesting. It looks like we are looking for that mould of midfielder in a similar vein to what Mangala's supposed to be, I guess, which is why it looks like we are looking at Uche. But again, if I know he's only 21, but a lot of the other numbers are really average at best, if I'm being honest with you. Below average, a lot of them as well, to be honest. I know he's only 21 and he has time to develop, but with the position we're in the Premier League, can we be really signing young project players? I think if we're going to sign young players, they have to at least have some experience in the Premier League, and especially in a position like midfield, where I think we are quite heavy. But again, we are going to have to replace Decore, and unless there is a chance we sign both, it depends how much the Freakins are willing to spend, if we're honest. But I don't know. If there's anyone who has watched more Uche than I can say I have, then please put down in the comments what you think of him. Currently, it's an air. 16.6 million is not a huge amount of money, especially in the Premier League. And if we're given a decent amount of money, I wouldn't be against seeing it. But again, this thing where maybe we'll have to loop around this in January when there's been a few more games, because I think he's played just under 1,000 minutes so far for Getafe. Everton and Sevilla are closely following Galatasaray manager Okan Burruch. The 51-year-old recently rejected an offer from Roma as he did not want to leave Galatasaray. This comes from Takvim. If he's rejected Roma, is he really going to want to join us? I guess there's probably more money that we can offer, but in our financial situation, can we actually offer him more wages until next season? The one thing I will say about Burke is clearly a good manager, fantastic. Won the league last year with 102 points, which broke a record in the Turkish league. He's unbeaten in 11 games so far this season, winning 10 of those. Third in the Europa League table. Of course, they beat Spurs 3-2. And if you look at the stats in that game and the numbers of that game, they absolutely played Spurs off the park, if we're being honest. But it was a quite heavily rotated Spurs side. So yeah, it's an interesting one because the quality dip from the Turkish league to the English league it's night and day. But he's clearly a good coach, and he probably will be given a chance at a big European club. Is this one where we need to snap him up early? With the quality of managers available right now, listen, I won't be against it at all. With the way Sean Dyche is going, I'd be shocked if he's we'll get onto it if he's still in the job at the end of the season with the rumours coming out and that the way the Friedkins are talking. But yeah, Berg, if he's interested, but I'd be shocked if he'd turn down Roma to then join us, when I feel like the Roma project is probably much more enticing than we are right now, to be honest, because of the players that are currently there compared to what we have. But yeah, we'll have to see. He's done a fantastic job with Galatasaray. He's clearly able to entice some good players to join the club. Wilfried Zaha, Victor Osimhen on loan. Yeah, I'm trying to think of more players that they have, but I'm struggling, to be honest. But they're two big names. Of course, Zaha, someone we were after for years. But yeah, I think it's an interesting one. We'll have to see what news develops. But yeah, I think with the managers available right now, if he would be interested, he'd probably be towards the top of the list by default, to be honest. And speaking of Sean Dyche, Everton boss Sean Dyche will face intense sack scrutiny over the Christmas period, with a daunting run of fixtures lined up. Sources close to the club have told that to Football Insider. Am I shocked? No, not really. If the Friedkins are willing to pump the money to get rid of him, I think we should get rid of him. I think I've mentioned on some of the monthly reviews that maybe we just have to firm it out till the end of the season because of the money. But when you actually look at how bad we've been, and yeah, we went on a decent run without a loss, but we've apparently had the easiest start to a season of any team, and we're still circling around the relegation clause when we can't seem to buy a win. I think that's one of those where I think Dyche has to go, and I think it's unfortunate. I don't like going through this carousel every 18 months of the manager has to go, we have to sack the manager, he has to, but I think it's one of those where we are genuinely dreadful. And I mean, if he turns it around at this Christmas run, then good for him. But I don't think he's gonna. And I think the club are doing the right thing by looking around at other managers, because if, like I said, if the Friedkins are willing to pump up the money to sack him, then it's up to them at the end of the day if they're going to be the new owners. And the last bit of news coming from today is Juventus could resort to Everton forward Beto in their quest to sign a new striker in January, as landing Lorenzo Luca remains a daunting task in the middle of the campaign. That comes from Il Corriere dello Sport via Il Bianconero. Yeah, Il Bianconero. I mentioned this in the last one where we mentioned Udinese and Beto. If the money's there, if we're able to actually get a decent feedback, then I'd get rid of him. I think he's been a better option than Calvert-Lewin so far this season, but I think every other starting striker in the Premier League has probably been a better option than Dominic Calvert-Lewin so far this season, if I'm being brutally honest. So it's one of those where we'll have to see how it goes, what comes out. But yeah, I quite like Beto. I think I mentioned he's one of those in that Nias category. I can't help but like him because he's passionate. He clearly wants to score goals for the club. But at the end of the day, if the money's there, then a club like Juventus come calling for him, I won't be surprised to see him leaving this in January at all, to be completely honest with you. But that is all for this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed, and follow me on Twitter at Callum 3. I'll see you all for the next video and all live stream that I am on.